Right. 11:15, July 10th, all order type B Economic Development Corporation and Park Board. Regular agenda. We have discussed, considered, and possible action.
We approve as presented.
Second. Favor of approving the minutes. All ayes have. Review and discuss questions related to the budget report and financial statement. Speak up.
So we're at 75% of the fiscal year. We've collected a little over 82% of projected revenues, which puts us at about 7.5% above projections. Current fund balance is $1.2 million and some change. And we had some out of budget expenses to get the splash pad fixed. The 4-inch line busted that feeds the panel, and so it was down for a couple of days, but now it's back to flowing many thousands of gallons a day. There's nothing really unusual in here. If you have any questions, be happy to take them, but so far we're in pretty good shape.
Anybody have any questions on the budget?
Only one on economic development. What's the $20 for? I think Molly bought somebody lunch or something. Nurse.
It's on my keyboard.
They eat cheap. There was something that was split. I haven't looked at, I can look specifically and see what it is. That's not a problem. Just caught my eye, but it was that cheap.
All right. Nobody has any other questions. We'll move on to the next agenda. Discuss, consider, and possible action on approval of $10,000 to install fiber optic cable in the city park.
So this is something that we're working on increasing our Wi-Fi capabilities because of the security cameras that are going to be placed in the park during the upgrades. It gives us the ability to move that data to be reported at the fire station and not there. And then we'll be able to share the information. People can log in and look at the cameras and all that jazz. We're working on some stuff. We're doing some updates with Pathway to increase underserved areas for Wi-Fi as part of a big state push. And so we are using some ARPA funds for that. But for some reason, there was concern because this is a park that it clouded that up. We're still reviewing it, but nonetheless, we still want to get it put in because we're going to need it for the cameras. Now, there is a line that we've got piping in the ground that goes from Spring Valley up to the concession stand. This will be to run the line from Main Street down Spring Valley to go up into the concession stand where we would set it up in there.
So there's a chance that we wouldn't have to use the 10,000.
There's a chance that if we can put it in with the ARPA stuff, there's a chance that that could happen. And if that does, then we just wouldn't spend the money. I'm still trying to get Pathway to do it for nothing because it's a park. And so it's possible, but I just wanted to get it approved so that we don't get stuck behind when it comes time to put it in, that we're ready to go.
Okay. Yes. Need a motion to approve the $10,000.
I'll make a motion, we approve the $10,000 to install the fiber optic cable in the park.
Second.
All in favor of approving $10,000 to install a fiber optic cable in the park, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, unanimous. Okay. Number 4, discuss and give direction on moving the Parks Department and the old fire station.
Okay, so here's the deal. The current property where the park building and their maintenance equipment is housed is the old fire station off Santa Fe. There, we've purchased 5 acres, almost 5 acres off of Gregory Street. It's down across, kind of catty corner to the Atmos Energy Building. Yeah, Atmos, yes. And we bought that so that we can move Public Works out of downtown because we're looking at parking, and as that develops, and now that the water line is coming through and out of the way, we'll be starting the process for the Main Street renovations, getting all that ready. That line is going to allow for some future development. Plans are already being submitted for a couple of additional buildings. And so one of the properties that the city has targeted for downtown development is that fire station property. So the thought is that we would move them. The Public Works property is big enough for both. And we would have them both work out of there. And we're working on a plan to get numbers together to move Public Works. The park doesn't need quite as big a facility. They don't have quite as much equipment. But they would have a separate set of office space. We're going to use pre-engineered metal building. We're not going to go down there and build, big fancy block stone architectural design to build. We're not looking for all that, but there's also consideration. We may be taking that metal building down. Steel contractors are telling us that since that building is bolted, we could probably take it down and move it for less money than we could have a new one, buy the new steel and have it erected. So we're still looking at that too.
Not moving it to Gregory Street.
Moving it to Gregory Street, yeah, and then having it put back. We'd have put new skin on it, but the metal framing, all the steel trusses, we would reuse. I think it's got 5 bays. Apparatus bays, where the fire department used to be. There's office, but quite a bit of office space in there. We would reduce some of that to make it a little more user friendly for what they do. Put a small conference room in there, for meetings, whether it's JVA or whoever, just whoever needs to do one. If there's an interest in moving that, if there's not, the other consideration is there might be an opportunity to buy it and renovate it. But I think that it'd probably be less money just to start over, move out of that spot down there. They've let us, we kind of moved in because there was nothing else over there. When we separated them out of Public Works, they needed a house, and so that's where they went. So it's kind of been on borrowed time anyway. Well, the option is to buy it. Or
Who owns it now?
the city does.
Okay.
So you'd be purchasing it from the city, and then the park board would own it, or the city would just give you the space to move it and just move it down on Gregory. And that frees up that property for some downtown development. Now, whether it may be the animal shelter, I hope it's not. But TxDOT's plans are going to take out the existing animal shelter. So it's going to have to be moved. I'm hoping that it goes farther north and not on this property, but there's some interest in developing some townhomes. I'm not sure why, or right alongside the railroad tracks, but people like to live downtown now. And so I guess they like the racket.
They did it over there in Burleson.
It's becoming very popular. So I don't know what will happen with it, but I know Molly's chomping at the bit to get it too. So if she can incentivize it and give it away to somebody, but
Which building are you talking about?
The old fire station on Santa Fe.
The whole building?
Mhm.
Where would you move to the park at?
Gregory's. We would move it on
No,
Gregory
no.
Street.
Thought you said you moved it down to the ballpark if you did.
No, that's
JVA.
it's a little meeting space inside. The city right now is dying for just simple meeting space to have meetings, so. I've just kind of made it a rule, anything else we build from this point forward is gonna have a small meeting space in it, so that. I mean, we're always bouncing around trying to find somewhere to meet, and whether or not we build the new city hall. That'll solve a lot of it, but. It'll have couple of small offices, meeting space. A crew lounge area for them, probably a bedroom for some of the overnight stuff they do during the winter time and. Shower sites, it's kind of the same setup that they have right now. Just maybe not quite as much office space, but certainly the ability to get the equipment indoors and. So that it's protected from the sun. A yard for. The field dirt that they use, and of course, we're gonna do away with our mulch collection under the new park stuff, but. They'll have a little space to keep. A little bit of stuff that they used to work on, dirt, rock, sort of stuff.
You said that property now, that where the parks building is now. Would eventually be used for commercial.
Commercial or residential. There's plans to shut down that railroad crossing or the intersection. There at on 12th and Main behind Hickory Tree. Or right behind PW actually.
Right.
To shut that down to car traffic. And so like I say, there's some interest in some residential development and maybe some commercial too. I don't know. Right now, residential is kind of what they're looking at, but nobody's made any offers yet, but we really haven't done much until we figure out what we're gonna do with. We're working on a plan currently to move public works and this could be just included with it. And the city may toss in some money to help do it too. I mean.
It seems to me if we could
all of us.
move that building cheaper as opposed to building.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we'll check when we get bids out. We've already got, when we did the. Architectural and construction RFQ for or the RFP for the new city hall, we included in that same process, the park building, the animal shelter, public works, all of those were included in that draft. So we've got we're not really gonna need the architect. I'm not gonna pay somebody to design a metal building people do that for free. But we may get them to help us with the layout. And then we'd build the thing out and finish it out. We'll probably contract all that or get a local builder to do it. Probably what I'd do, but we have them already on staff as well as a construction company that specializes in pre-engineered metal buildings. They just finished the Meals on Wheels building in Cleburne. Pretty nice building. We went over and looked at that. It's very, very nice. A lot of really interesting things and ideas went into that. We will steal a few ideas from that, but they did a good job putting it together for pretty decent,
Where are you gonna store the equipment while you're tearing this one down and rebuilding?
I don't know. We've not got that far yet. Probably we'll have to put some covered space out there. We know that we're going to have some of that already. It may be that we just move a lot of it into there. Once we get up and running, we'll kind of figure all that out.
So what kind of direction are you looking for from us on this?
I just need to know if you're interested in relocating it or if you want to try to stay there and buy it and renovate it. If you're interested in that, we'll get an appraisal done on it, see what it's worth. But I really think when we start renovating, we have to bring it up to current code. And I think that's going to be expensive. We'll have to totally gut it, completely redo it, and renovation usually costs more than new construction. And that's if the city will leave it as what it is. I haven't brought it to the council yet. I wanted to find out where y'all were first.
Do we want to move that? I don't know. Yeah. I think moving it would be the best, relocating it, right?
I think it would be.
Means you're gonna move the street equipment over where to start with, Gregory. Might as well have it all in one
I
area.
think, yeah, I think that's the best option. But, it'll give them more space to move that, that piece of property there's long and skinny. So it's, it's hard to get, it's hard to maneuver around in a lot of it. It'd make more sense to move it, quite honestly. And if that's the way you want to go, then we'll start working on numbers and all that good stuff and get a plan in place to get it done.
I think it sounds like a good idea.
Relocate it, right?
Relocate it.
I'm in favor.
Somewhere along the line, we're gonna have to do it again.
Yeah.
Either buy a new one or put up this one. If it's bolted, that's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, it's bolted together so it can be taken apart. Some of the ones at Public Works are the same way. We're also gonna use our connections at American Steel Carport to
It's just thinking about them.
see about, they've become a pretty good partner with the city and we might be able to
Mm.
do some things there. This is a little outside of what they normally do, but if you've noticed that great big 30,000 square foot building they just built, they can do those too. So
About to help fund that shed building.
they,
They're phenomenal.
yeah, they're really good to work with and they built a lot of the stuff that's at Public Works and some of that might even be taken down and moved. I'm not sure. We still haven't talked to them, but it does make sense to use them. They're right
Yeah.
there. But it makes a lot of sense to use them.
Okay, so do we need a motion?
No, I just need a general direction, we have it, and we'll start putting the plan together for y'all to do some improving.
Good to have with. Liz, discuss and receive update on the park renovation project.
So I mainly wanted to give you one more opportunity to make sure this is what you guys want to do. We're gonna spend, we're gonna issue the bond, well, actually, we're gonna do it a little bit differently. We can get a better rate with the bonds if the city takes out the bond. Because our credit rating is so much better and it's the bond, our financial people think that it's a better option to do it that way and then do an interlocal with the city to pay it. Just to pay them back, it'll save us some money in the long haul, better interest rate. And so if you guys are okay with that, we'll put it on the council agenda for them to approve that agreement, and then we're gonna issue. I put some numbers together, figuring in some contingency money and for unexpected things that we always have. We'll issue $1.2 million in a bond. And the plan still is to get started in the fall.
Didn't we agree to 1.3?
No,
It was 1 million,
It was, yeah.
a little over,
We
a
raised-
little under $1 million. Because we added some contingency in there, there's some removal fees, there's a lot of that stuff's got to be taken up and moved, and so we added a little bit of that just to cover us.
I think we approved up to $1 million.
Yeah, so this'll put us a little over that, but it'll cover us for some hiccups and you won't have to mess with your fund balance.
Do more to.
Yes. We voted to spend $1 million. Then we came back here and said upgrade. Put the golf course in there, the disc golf course, all the canopies, more benches. And the AstroTurf and all that stuff. I thought we were at 1.3. All right.
My understanding is a little bit over $1 million.
Could be.
Yeah. I don't remember. I can look through the minutes and see.
The last one.
If not, I can look online.
Can't remember.
Yeah.
Ain't corrected if it's 1.2.
Okay.
$700,000.
Yeah.
Should be able to stipulate.
Keep it and read that.
Got it in the minute, but it doesn't say.
Doesn't have an amendment, but it has it in.
It was originally in $1 million. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in March, they did $1 million, and then April, I think it was, they. I'm like,
It's not the first time I've ever been wrong.
Today.
It's early. So, but whether it's 1.3, 1.2, or 1.05, we have to read. Or whatever.
If there was an amount specified, I would say probably so.
I think there's.
If you think it's,
it was over, because in March, y'all did $1 million. In March, it was $1 million, and the next month after that, it went up to 1.2, or something like that. Yeah.
well, we need to find out if it's 1.3, then we'll go ahead and move forward. If it's less than that, then we may have, we'll ask Terry, but we may have. If it's less than 1.3, we're fine. If the number, the last number was 1.3, she doesn't have it, and but we'll see what.
Correct. When I would have my notes, I can go pull it now, or we can wait. And like with the city council actually doing the certificate of obligation,
Actually, the city could,
Right, so-
we could just do the agreement for the. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do it that.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess we'll put that on for Thursday.
yes, sir, and the bond council are sending the resolution that they need to pass this week.
Sorry, that's it.
That's this Thursday.
Next Thursday, I'll do
Next
the
Thursday.
agenda this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Okay, citizen forum. Future agenda item, what, Richard, next agenda. Any future agenda item?
That we don't spend any.
We've been voting pretty good here lately.
$1 Merle.
I guess that's it. 7:39.
You don't?
Good.